Hello, it's Sonia here, The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today is Tuesday, and that means it's Tunisian Tuesday, where we either feature a Tunisian stitch pattern or an actual project. And today we're going to be doing a stitch pattern, and I'm just using a regular straight crochet hook. Just have a rubber band on the end to keep my stitches from sliding off. I'm using an eye hook or a 5.5mm hook. And I have already gotten started on row 1. So here it is, and I am using worsted weight yarn, and the yarn is called Bello Cocoa Irresistible Aran. It's called Aran yarn, but it's definitely more like worsted weight or even closer to DK weight. So to do this stitch pattern, you are going to need to chain a multiple of 4, and then you add 3. So I went ahead and chained 19 because 4 times 4 is 16, and then you add 3 and it's 19. Alright, so I'm going to show you a clip on how to get started on row 1. Okay, so row 1 is our setup row in the second chain from our hook. I like to work in the back bump of my chain. I am going to pull up loops. Now you don't have to work in the back bump, that's just my preferred method. And if you've never done Tunisian crochet before, I do have a playlist that goes over the basics plus other stitch pattern tutorials and projects as well. So I'll place that link in the description box if you want to check that out. So Tunisian crochet is always worked in 2 parts. Each row is worked in 2 parts. So we are doing row 1. So the first part of row 1, called the forward pass, we are putting our stitches on our hook. And then the second part of row 1 will be called the return pass, where we will take the stitches off our hook and each part equals 1 row. Okay, so I have my loops on my hook, and the amount that I chained will be the amount that is on my hook. So I have 17 loops because I chained 17. So let's work the second part of row 1. We're going to yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 for the rest of the row. Okay, so there we go. There is row 1. Okay, so we are back. We've got row 1 done. So now we're going to begin row 2. So for row 2, we're going to work Tunisian purl in that first stitch. So my yarn is in front, and we're working the purl stitch. And if you're not familiar with that, I do have that in the playlist, which I will have linked, the Tunisian crochet playlist linked in the description box. Okay, so now we are going to work a yarn over, and we're going to insert our hook in the next 3 stitches in Tunisian simple stitch. So we're working like a giant decrease stitch. So 1, 2, and 3, yarn over, pull up a loop. So now we're going to take the yarn over that we just did, we're going to slide it over. So you're going to need to use your thumb and index finger to do that. Slide it over the hook, just like that. Now we are going to chain 1. Now we're going to do another yarn over, and in this stitch here, so this chain we just made, we're going to insert our hook in here. So we have our yarn over, we're going to go back in there and pull up a loop. So now we have the correct amount of loops on our hook. So now we are going to repeat what we just did here. So you're working Tunisian purl. Now we do a yarn over, we do the giant decrease stitch, so the next 3 stitches. Pull up our loop. We take the yarn over that we just did, grab it, and just pull it over. And now we are going to chain 1, yarn over, insert our hook in that chain we just made, pull up our loop, and just repeat. So there are a lot of steps with that one, but once you get a rhythm going, it's not too bad. Okay, so now I'm at the end of my row. We have to do our second to last stitch is going to be a purl stitch. And then in our very last stitch that looks like a chain, insert right in the middle of that and pull up a loop. So because I chained 19, I still will have 19 loops on my hook. And we're going to work our return pass, so you're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for the rest of the row. Alright, so there is row 2. So let's begin row 3. This is just a 2-row repeat for this particular stitch pattern. So for row 3, we are going to work Tunisian purl. So in all of the purl stitches, you're always going to work purl. And then in the next 3 vertical bars, you're working Tunisian simple. So 1, 2, 3, and then Tunisian purl. So you're going to repeat all the way across. So it's Tunisian purl, 3 Tunisian simple. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row, so you're going to work Tunisian purl in that second to last stitch, and then in that stitch that looks like a chain in the center of that, and then we work our return pass. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for the rest of the row. So you're going to be repeating rows 2 and 3 for however long you want your swatch, and then we will do our bind off row. So you just need to do a couple rows to really get the feel of this stitch pattern. I think it's a really cool looking stitch pattern. I was playing around and this stitch pattern came out. This one was born. It doesn't have a name. It's just from my own brain. I'm sure I did not invent the wheel. I'm sure somebody else came up with it a long time ago, and I just discovered it again. So I'm going to keep going, repeating rows 2 and 3, and I will meet you back. Alright, so here is my swatch. I ended on a row 2. I should have mentioned that to end on a row 2, but I will have put that up on the screen. So you'll already know that. So I worked 12 rows. So you can see it's a really pretty stitch. It has a lot of nice texture and it lays flat, which is very nice, especially with Tunisian crochet, because it often likes to curl. So now we need to bind off. So we're just going to bind off in pattern. So because I ended on a row 2, we will need to work Tunisian. We'll need to work a row 3, but do it in bind off. So that is just finishing off your work, and I do have binding off in the playlist. Alright, so let's do the bind off. So our first stitch is Tunisian purl. And again, bind off is a combination of Tunisian crochet and regular crochet. So we're finishing off with a slip stitch. Now we're going to work 3 Tunisian simple, but binding off, so working slip stitch and Tunisian purl. So we're doing this all the way across. Alright, and we can't forget our last stitch there, that chain, binding off, and there we go. So again, I think it's a really pretty stitch. I think it would be really cool in a lot of different projects like blankets, hats, scarves, if you wanted to make a sweater, lots of different things that you could do with this stitch. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.